Welcome to today's episode of r/Today I Did an Oopsie, Tifu by marrying my stepsister. This is a throwaway, friends know my account and we want to keep this private. Yes, I know it's half not step. So 29 years ago my mother had her at home birth and out popped her only child, me. When filling out all work she refused to give any info on my father, so according to the government I don't have a dad. Life growing up wasn't hard, my mom was a doctor so financially we were stable, my grandma would take care of me and it was overall nice. However, my mom refused to ever talk about my dad. All I knew is he was a tall son of a beach. 5 years ago I met the girl of my dreams. Long black hair, a lovely face and an amazing body. She was the sweetest thing and seemed to understand me. She was 19, I was 24, but age didn't affect us. We met at a coffee shop she worked at. I would come around 7. When they were about to close, get coffee and talk with her as she closed shop. Soon enough I asked for her number. She told me she wasn't allowed to give private info to customers, so I waited till they closed, walked out with her, then asked her again. She agreed and we started talking more. Things went up from there. We started dating. I got close with her family, she got close to mine, and a year ago I proposed to her at the coffee shop we met at. To my joy she said yes. Wedding planning is a beach. I hated it. It took about 4 months and during that time my mom got cancer and was put in a hospital. December 2018 we got married. Skype called the whole thing for my mom. And January 2019 my wonderful mother passed away. My wonderful supporting now wife was amazing throughout this all. We held the funeral and she kept me going, and we held the funeral. This is where life took a turn. We were cleaning out the attic of her house, preparing everything to sell. No big deal. That's when I found a photo album from when my mom was in college. I flipped through it and noticed something. A guy commonly with my mom was my wife's dad. Shocked and stunned I approached my wife with it and she said we should talk to her dad about it. We go to him and he tells us about how he dated a girl in college, got her pregnant, couldn't handle it and disappeared to a different part of town. We explained to him how that's my mother and that's where this story leaves off. I'm grossed, but my wife and I talked about it. We're going to try and stay together and never talk about this again. Too long, didn't read. I had no dad, met a girl, married her, found out her dad was my dad. Edit. Half not step. Thank you. Comments. Right now we aren't planning on having kids. Well, cross that bridge when we get there. We don't even really want to do any testing to confirm or deny it. We have all the evidence we need. We're just going to pretend that the photo album didn't exist and pray it doesn't hurt us later on in life. That's your half sister, not stepsister. That's worse. Some people would see this as an absolute win. Sounds like a Star Wars love story to me. Every time I hear these stories it makes me internally scream. It's so ducking unfortunate. Sorry. Glad you two have decided to stay together. Most don't. To my dismay. How's her dad handling it? He promised to silence also, but he's been a lot quieter lately. LOL, imagine what he's thinking. Probably of his son ducking his daughter on their honeymoon. Lucky man. Alabama is spreading, isn't it? Where the skies are so blue. To be fair, he could have prevented this from happening by reaching out and trying to meet his own son at any point in the past 3 goddamn decades. I bet he's regretting his choice to be a deadbeat piece of shit real bad right now. Tifu by sending a video without watching it, and now I am being adopted. So last Thursday night I saw everyone tagging their stepdads in the Budweiser commercial. Without watching it, I sent it to my stepdad. About an hour later my stepdad and mom call me and ask if I'm hinting at something. My stepdad is like, I know you had intent. I'm like, huh? OMG, in the commercial the adult children are asking their stepdads to adopt them. So he starts crying, thinking I want this. Now I can't tell him that I didn't mean to. Friday he squeezed me so tight and said he wants me take his name and make it official, etc etc. All I can think is wow, that sounds like a huge hassle. But I can never say anything about it being an accident. So like now I'm being adopted and changing my name. TLDR, sent a Father's Day commercial to my stepdad who is adopting me now. I'm 31. Is he at least a good stepdad? He's okay. We don't have a particularly close relationship, but he has been around for 19 of my 31 years. I'm cool with doing this and keeping my mouth shut because he is so happy about it, I guess. Imagine if he's like, oh Jesus Christ, now I have to act like I am happy about this, goddamn it. That would be seriously ironic. Tifu by telling my 31-year-old stepchild I totally want to adopt their dumbass. Tifu by giving myself autism. A few years back, I was a naive kid attending a smallish college outside of my home state. Utter shyness was my vice, and this made it nigh on impossible to get a job in a town which was almost exclusively clerk cashier positions. Every interview I went to, I would cripple over into myself and sweat profusely. Still, I needed a job, badly. So, when I saw a help needed sign in the general store's window, I was eager to check it out. This place was old school. It looked as if it had been preserved from the social contract times of the 1940s, and the owner was an elderly man of 80 years. I ask after him and the old guy hobbles out, extending a hearty handshake. We walk off to a back room and he begins to ask the usual questions. I begin to get uneasy and jumpy like usual. This seems to make the old man nervous also, and a perplexed expression forms across his face as his brow furrows. Say, why you're nervous all of a sudden? The man asks, in a panic, the sweat funneling down my neck, my hands becoming clammy. I was in a corner and this was the last chance saloona. Well, you probably ought to know I have autism. Duck. A look of compassion and sympathy spreads over the old man. Yet I want to run away. None to worry. Can you stack shelves for a couple of hours a day? I continue to look at the ground, praying for it to swallow me whole. Yes, sir. And so, every day for 4 or 5 hours, I stock the store's shelves whilst pretending to be autistic. I saw Rain Man kind of once when I was on a flight, and I do my best to imitate Hoffman's Raymond Babbitt. If a customer came to me and asked for an item, I'd echo their words under my breath, or twitch my body around, or mumble incoherently. It was a shitty situation all round, but I needed the money and I was doing no harm. This ploy continued through to spring, until one day the old man asks me if I want to work front shop to build some confidence. Reluctantly, I agree and continue doing a subpar impression of an autistic man for the few customers that walk in. The old man stands beside me sorting out items. He seems proud. A few hours pass and I slip into the routine. Suddenly, my mom and dad stroll through the door. I had forgotten they were coming up to visit me. Oh shit. They walk up to the desk and hug me. I cannot react else the old man beside me will know the ruse is up. How are you? My mom asks with a big smile. MRRR, comes my reply. Mom looks confused. MRR, work, I repeat. What the hell? Are you ducking with us? The old man steps forward and leans over the desk. He thinks a random couple have come in to abuse me. This kid has autism. You ducking old horse. Get the duck out of my store. My dad, my mom, and me stand with our mouths agape. Sensing I had to mitigate the situation, I throw my apron on the floor and run like Forrest Gump to my car. I floor it to my dorm. Several hours later I get a call. It is my dad. Son, have you ever been tested for the spectrum? Too long didn't read. Recreated Rain Man with the old guy from Up. Tifu by eating gummy bears on a plane. I apologize in advance for the sloppiness. I'll update when I get to my hotel. I'll cut to the chase by saying that once I got boarded on my flight to Florida I started to get a little hungry. No big deal, I thought, since I have some sugar-less gummy bears to eat. I know it sounds gross, but I'm hungry trying to eat healthier. Well, once I opened the 1-pound bag of them, immediately the teenager next to me asked if he could have some. I didn't care because I talked to him once we were boarded and he seemed pretty chill, plus that bag was 1 pound and there was no way I was going to do it by myself. We're going to town on this bag because they aren't that bad actually. I'm sitting in the window seat and this kid is sitting next to me in the aisle seat, and across the aisle is his little brother, less than 2 years old if I had to guess, and his mother next to him in the window seat across the plane. The toddler is getting all curious, so that the teen next to me begins to tear the bears in little pieces to let him have some. Again, I didn't really care because the whole family was pretty chill. By now all 3 of us are eating some and the bag is running low. The teen showed no signs of stopping, so I just asked if he wanted the rest. He agrees and takes it while I try to get some shut eye. The teen follows suit and asks his mom if she wants to keep tearing the little bears up to feed to the garbage disposal of a toddler. The mom starts snacking on them while simultaneously feeding the toddler some. I didn't think much of it because I started to actually fall asleep. I woke up with the worst feeling in my stomach not 30 minutes later. I take the small blanket I had off over my face and all 3 of the family members are nowhere to be seen. At this point they could have fallen out of the ducking plane and I wouldn't have cared because my stomach was feeling like it was hitting the abort button like I was having the McGiggles. I get up and make my way to the bathroom at the front of the plane and I spot the teen that was sitting next to me banging on the door actually ducking crying. I start to put 2 and 2 together that it might be the gummy bears since we all are some. Well, after banging on the door the mom and toddler finally come out in a rush with the mother looking like she just served in Vietnam. She's sweating like crazy and starts asking me what the duck I put in those gummies. I told her straight from up that I had no idea what is going on because I had just bought the bag and didn't do anything to it. The absolute second I finish my sentence the baby shoots liquid diarrhea out of its ass like it was being paid to do it. I can't handle shit and some of it even got on my forearm so start to puke. Mid-projectile vomit the teen comes out sweating bullets and I rush in there. I sit on the toilet and enter orbit when my ass opened. I swear I lifted off the ducking seat while simultaneously blowing chunks in the piss station to the right of the toilet. Once I'm done throwing up I can hear the complete chaos unfolding outside the door. The toddler is hysterical, the mom is shouting and the stewardess is trying to calm everyone down. I clean up as much as I could and step out of the bathroom and as soon as I did the most putrid smell hit my nose. I assess the damage done by the Hershey squirting baby and it was a lot worse than I thought. Not only did the baby manage to shit out of its onishi and onto my forearm, but also all over the seats in the first row. Thank God no one was sitting there. As I make my way back to my seat not wanting to look the shit covered mother in the face I notice the baby also left a trail of turds all along the aisle leading to her seat. I got back to my seat and everyone is looking at me like I opened fire on a bag of newborn puppies. I apologized more than I have ever in my life and explained that I didn't know that gummy bears could do that. The plane made an emergency landing and everyone got off the plane because the smell was too much. I went to the airport bathroom to freshen up and once I got back I look at the plane I had just gotten off and they literally had guys in hazmat suits going in with cleaning supplies. I have never been more ashamed in my entire life and I'm literally shaking right now. TLDR, I shared sugarless gummy bears on my plane. Little did I know they are laxatives and me and 3 others shit like our lives depend on it and create a huge mess. Edit 1. I've been talking to police getting this figured out. The mom thought I had put something in them to make us react. I'm telling them the story and how sugarless candy can act as laxatives. Till. I will edit update later. Bro, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.